Hi, it's Jordan Teen 1, and in this tutorial I'm going to share with you the grid pattern for my brand new Batman bracelet. So I've included the characters Harley Quinn, I have the big bat symbol, and then I have the Joker. I was going to make Batman, but I really wasn't happy with the different designs that I had tried, so I opted for the bat symbol, and I think it turned out really cool. I used 56 rows for this bracelet, and the size of that is approximately 8 inches in length. So I found that about every 7 rows equals an inch, give or take a little bit. So if you did need to add or subtract rows, you can always do that on the ends or in between the characters. So you would just want to measure your wrist and then make your bracelet accordingly. To make your bracelet, you can use either the Alpha Loom or the full-size Rainbow Loom, or really any loom that has pins that are able to be set in a straight line. So I will be showing it on the Alpha Loom today, but if you are making it on the Rainbow Loom or any other loom, you do, as I said, want to have your pins in a straight line, and you would want to separate your base plates in order for your bracelet to be able to grow down in between the rows. Other than your loom, you're going to need a hook of some sort if you're using the Rainbow Loom, and you might want to have one even if you're using the Alpha Loom. I know I find it helpful. So I actually have the Rainbow Loom metal hook. And then as far as my band counts, I used 162 purple, 42 white, 19 red, 98 black, 2 turquoise, 49 yellow, 20 green, and then I used 55 of the clear bands for my cross bands. I'm going to start the bracelet with you, and then I'm going to put up the full grid pattern and let you complete the bracelet on your own. Because honestly, once you learn the concept of it, you can make any bracelet just by looking at a grid pattern. So I'm going to put just a portion of the grid pattern in the upper left-hand corner, and then I will highlight each row as we're working on it. The first row is going to be your solid background color. So I'm using purple, but really you can use any color that you like. And you need 7 bands for each row, and you're just going to stretch them straight across, and with just this very first row you do want to twist and make a figure 8. So just go straight across and twist. And if you wanted to, you could actually twist it more than once if you want to make it a little bit tighter on the ends. But I find that just twisting it once is sufficient. And then you're going to take your alpha comb, or if you're using a Rainbow Loom, you can just use your hook, or I found like an old credit card or store card works well. And you're just going to push everything down to the bottom. Now, in between every row, we're going to put what I call a cross band or a tie band that's just going to hold the rows together. So I'm using clear, and it's going to stretch from one end all the way to the other. So really it doesn't matter which side you put it on, but I like to pick a side and stay consistent. So I'm just going to put it on the left. And you want to push that down. Now if you're using the Rainbow Loom, it is a much longer stretch, so you might want to actually take your band and sort of stretch it out in your fingers first, just to give it a little more slack to reach over those 7 pins. In row 2, I have my solid background color again, and there's no need to twist anymore, so you're just putting them straight across from one side to the other. And you want to try and get them as straight as possible. If it looks like it's really twisted, what you can do is just to take a hook and just trace around just to try and straighten it out. So the more straight that your bands are, the neater that your bracelet's going to turn out in the end. And then what you're going to do is take your clear band and you want to pull this over into the center. So you can use your fingers. I like to just use a hook. If you wanted, you could use your Alpha comb and just use one of the hooks to grab that. And then what you're going to do is take the bottom layer, so just the very bottom band on each side, and you're going to pull that over the top, and then go to the opposite side and repeat. And then just push everything down. And now you're going to do your cross band. In row 3, we're having another row of background color. And of course, if you were trying to make your bracelet shorter, you could eliminate some of these rows on the ends and some of the rows in between. And then again, you want the crossband to come over to the middle. And then once again, the bottom layer just needs to come off of each side. So really this is the whole concept. It's quite easy. I'm going to push everything down. I have my next crossband. In row 4, we're going to start just a little part of the pattern of Harley Quinn. So on the 5th pin down from the top, you're going to have a white band. So basically they're just going straight across, same as always. So the clear comes over. And then the bottom. Looks like I missed one here on the end. Occasionally that happens. And then my next crossband. In row 5 we have 2 reds, and they're going to go on the 3rd and 4th pin from the top. So hopefully everyone's getting the hang of this, if you don't already know how to do it. Looks like my red band is a little bit twisted. My crossband. In row 6 we have 2 red again, but this time they're going to be on the 2nd and 3rd pins down. So this is actually the last row I'm going to do with you, because I think by now you probably got the whole concept of how to do this. And as I said, I will put the grid pattern up for you to follow for the rest. So here's the rest of the grid pattern, so you can pause your video here and finish that out. And then I'm going to come back and show you how to remove it from the loom and finish it off. When you have your bracelet finished and you're ready to remove it from the loom, what you're going to do is take all of the bands on one side and move them across to the other. So I'll take the ones on the left and just move them over to the right. They're just going to sit right on top, and just try and be careful that you don't lose them off your hook. And then I'm going to take the bottom layer here and I'm going to pull them up and over the top. So that's going to leave you with just one band left on each side here. You push this down. So what I'm going to do is start at the bottom here, and I'm going to take the band and move it to the next pin up, and then I'm going to reach down inside the top, pull up the bottom, and move that to the next pin up. So we're just going to keep repeating that. So reach down through, pull up, and move to the next pin above. And that's just going to link those all together, and it will tie them off and prevent this from coming apart. So when we're done here, it's just going to be one band at the very top that's going to be your loose band that we're going to add a clip to. So I'm pulling this up through. This is my loose band. I'm going to take my clip and attach it, and then I can just slide these all off, and they should be all linked together nice and tight. So you might have to just sort of even these out. I hope that everyone loves their new Batman bracelets. You can always leave me comments on YouTube and Facebook. You can post pictures of your creations to my Facebook page, and please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on my latest tutorials. You can also find me on Pinterest and Instagram, so feel free to post your pictures and comments there too. I love to see what everyone's creating. And feel free to subscribe to those as well. Thanks for watching!